Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming my September Rooted video. If you're not familiar with this series, I will link the playlist above. But basically 2 years ago when I got married, I moved from a big city to a very small town, and it has been a hard 2 years trying to find my footing here, trying to meet friends here. Everything has been a winding journey, let's say. And so this year in 2017, I made my word for the year Rooted with the intention of taking action steps and trying to find ways to feel more rooted and more settled and more at home here in this small town. And so I've just been documenting my journey over the course of the year through this series with the hopes of kind of finding friends online who are going through the same thing, and also just spreading encouragement and just to tell you, if you're going through this, you are not alone, sister. I am right there with you. So as usual, I have my phone with some notes. So if I'm looking down, I'm looking at my notes of the different things that I kind of want to go over in this video. So to recap September, the last time I talked to you in August, I was just about to head out to Maryland for my sister's wedding. And so the beginning of September, her wedding was in late August, and we got back here to Texas from the wedding in early September. And so the whole month just started off on a really happy note because we had just been in Maryland visiting with my family and my grandparents and aunts and uncles, and of course my sister and her new husband. It was such a fun and beautiful wedding, and we just had such a nice time spending time with everybody and hanging out with everybody, and it was just really awesome. I actually vlogged the whole trip. If you want to go check it out, it's on my travel playlist. I think it's called Baltimore Trip Part 1 or something like that, but you'll know because I've put kind of like sub titles in, like my sister's wedding, so you'll know which ones they are. But that was just a really fun trip, and since that kicked off the week, the month, it started off a really good month, and the whole month has been awesome. Something else that really has been weaving through this whole month is this theme of exercise and health and fitness. I have struggled the past couple of years with health and fitness in a unique way that I haven't really struggled in the past. And part of that has just been being in a really low place emotionally and mentally and spiritually has led me to just kind of want to sit at home on the couch and eat comfort foods and not, I've talked about this a little bit in the past, but health just has not been my #1 top priority. In addition to that, the gyms in town are just like horrible options. They're just horrible. And there's one that's a little bit nicer, but it's incredibly expensive for what it is. It's like this tiny little gym, and we're just like, we don't really want to spend that insane amount of money. So I don't know. It's just been tough. Not to say that you need a gym to work out, but both of us feel like we've both been gym members in the past, and that's been a really good place for us to go and work out, and like we just really like going to gyms. And so we've had to kind of be a little bit more creative because the gyms around here are not great. But this woman at my church who is a long distance runner, and she runs marathons, and she's had a personal trainer for years and years, she has been hosting a women's boot camp every Wednesday night for any women at the church and any friends we may have, whether or not they attend, you know, whatever. And I've been going every Wednesday this month, and it has been such a good experience. Not only does it feel good to move my body and exercise, it's hard. She is not kidding around. Like, it is, those were hard workouts. It's also just nice to get to know the women at my church in that way. And there's something to be said for like doing an activity together. I feel like you really bond with people when you do activities together. So while we're working out and doing burpees and sprints and lunges and squats and all these things, we end up kind of cracking jokes and laughing, and it ends up being really, really fun. So that's been what we've been doing. Me and the women at church, it's a women only thing, have been doing every Wednesday. It's been really, really fun. Along those same lines, there's this walking trail in town, and when I first moved here a couple years ago, I remember asking one of my sister-in-law's friends who have lived here all their lives, or for a long time, and I asked them about the walking trail, and I was like, I saw it, it looked so awesome, I would love to go with my dog. And they were like, oh, don't go on that trail, it's super dangerous, it's through the worst part of town and all this stuff. And so of course I'm not going to put, you know, myself and my dog in danger to take a walk. I'll just walk around our neighborhood. And so I kind of forgot about it. Well, a couple of weeks ago at the beginning of September, Riley asked if I wanted to go take a walk, and he was like, why don't we go on the walking trail in town? And I asked him about it, and he was like, oh no, it's fine. And so we went. Y'all, this was like a magical walking trail. It was like, we went at like sunset at like, you know, a little before dusk, sunset. And like the path is through town, but it's tree lined, and it's a pretty rural town anyway. So it's not like it's like high rises. So it's like tree lined path, and the sun was like twinkling and shining and sparkling through the tree leaves and like dancing onto the path. And then on the other side of the tree line was a huge pasture full of horses. So there are these like beautiful horses like galloping all along, and this like sparkly light coming through, and it was like magical. And I just fell in love with this walking path, and I was like, this is so beautiful. Oh my gosh. So it was super fun to find like a little hidden gem like that in town, because I've shared before, there's just nothing to do around here. And so having something like that is such a huge win. And since we have gone on that walk, I have invited one of my new friends who I talked about last month in my August Rooted video to go take a walk with me. So a couple days ago, she brought her baby and put her baby in a stroller, and I brought Charlie on a leash, and we went and took a long walk down this path. It's a 2-mile loop, and so we did that, and it was just so enjoyable. It's just a nice way to kind of get out of the house and go and kind of clear your mind in nature. And so anyway, I'm just thankful for that little discovery of this walking path through town, which is, it's not far from us at all, which is really, really nice. Friendship wise, things have been really similar to what they were last month, where not a whole bunch has changed circumstantially. I have met a new friend at church that I talked about last month, and she and I have gotten together a couple of times. There are a couple of other women that I've met as well through different avenues who I've gotten together with every once in a while. It's continually a struggle. It's been hard to find a friend group for sure. I definitely don't have that. A lot of people call friend groups tribes, and they talk about like find your tribe and love your tribe. And I actually recently wrote a blog post called Hope When You Can't Find Your Tribe, and I'm gonna link it above. So if you're in a similar place where you might have a friend here or there, but you really don't have that strong supportive community feeling, I encourage you to go read that blog post. I'll link it below as well. It might encourage your heart some, because it is really hard. It's really hard, especially when you've had that in your past, when you've had a tribe before and you know what wonderful support really feels like when you're a part of a community like that, and then to have that stripped away and not have that can be super challenging. At least it has been for me. And so although I still have friends here or there, it has continued to be a challenging time as far as finding kind of that community that I'm really looking for, but I'll keep pressing into it and keep pushing into the awkwardness of going to different things and just trying to kind of find my people here. One thing I do want to give a voice to, or at least talk about briefly, is that it is incredibly challenging to be the only one. It feels like in town, but certainly in the group of women that I have come to know in town, who does not have a baby or a bunch of children. I've definitely touched on this before in the past, but y'all, I am not exaggerating. I am truly the only person I know who is married who doesn't have a kid. Everyone I know here, people who are 5 years younger than me have kids, people have 9 kids, people have 5 kids, everybody has a billion kids. And listen, if you know me, you know I truly love children. I think they are such a gift and a blessing. And I say to families who are ready to have a bunch of kids or one kid or however many kids, that is such a beautiful and special thing. Walk that path, run your race, do your thing, have your kids, enjoy your family. I'm like all for that. So this doesn't come out of a place of jealousy, because my husband and I haven't even started trying to get pregnant. That's not something that and I've touched on that a little bit too, but I don't know that I'll go into that in this video too deeply, but we are not in a place where that's our next step right now. And we feel completely at peace about that between the two of us, you know, as the decision and with the Lord as well. So that's that. However, it is so hard because I can't tell you how many hours I have talked about breastfeeding when I have never been pregnant or breastfed myself, because I'm around people constantly. Everyone has babies, everyone has kids, and it's just the topic of conversation that comes up. And I understand completely. I'm sure that, you know, you're a mom, and so that's what you're going to talk about that, of course. And I respect that and I support that. I'm just giving a voice to those of us who are in communities the way that I am, where you're in groups of people and it's really hard to connect because you're the only one without a baby. And there was at one time on a night where I was in a Bible study, and I afterwards was privately talking to someone in the group and just saying how hard it had been and how lonely I was, and how and the person said, well, why do you think that is or was or whatever? And I said, because I said, I think there are several reasons, but I think one of them is because I am the only one around who doesn't have any children. And that's kind of the common denominator between everyone else that I know in town. And they all seem to be kind of more bonded together because of that. And I just feel kind of like the outsider. And the response that I got was, well, you could fix that. And I just think it's a really dangerous solution. Like, having a baby is not a solution to a problem of loneliness, if you ask me. And I feel really strongly about that. And that is a large reason why we haven't had a child or tried to have a child any sooner. Being in a dark, really hard place and feeling really lonely, I don't think personally for me would be the right time to think about welcoming a new life into the world. I think a baby is a gift that's meant to be cherished and loved and a blessing, but a baby is not a solution to a problem, in my opinion. And so anyway, my viewpoint on that, and kind of the way that I think about having children, and just the fact that I just don't have any yet, makes it so hard sometimes, so hard to connect. And there's no blame to be cast on anyone else, because like I said, I want people to run their race and do their thing and walk their own journeys, whether that's having a whole bunch of kids or none. You have to walk your own journey. But like I said, I just want to give a voice to the fact that it's really hard. I just have not met anyone here who is married without kids. I just have not. Like, everyone has kids. Everyone has kids. And I think that's great for them. And I love their kids. I've gotten to know a lot of their kids, but I'm just wanting to point out that there is a distance, and there is a gap, and there is a difficulty in cultivating really deep friendships when everyone around is thinking about child rearing all day, because of course that's their job, and I'm so glad for that. I don't want to come across like I'm like bitter about them being mothers. Like, I think that's so beautiful. In fact, a couple of years ago, I wrote a blog post about how my only real end goal in life is that I really want to be a mother. It's like, you could go find it. Like, I'm all about it. However, not being in that stage, I have found it hard to connect. And there are times when I'm in a group of people and breastfeeding is being talked about and sleep schedules are being talked about, and these things are being talked about for hours, and I just have nothing to add, and it's really hard. And it's not their fault, and it's not malicious. It's just hard. It's hard to connect. And this has been the song I've been singing this whole year. I mean, my very first Rooted video where I just explained the whole situation at large, this is something that I said, is that, like, it's just challenging to connect with people when your day-to-day lives are so different, and what is your priority is so different during the day. And so if you've had a similar experience where everyone you know has babies, I just want to say I understand that you love them and you love their babies, and it's still hard to connect sometimes. And I would love to hear what your experience has been with that, and I just would love to hear from you. I'll be really thankful when the time comes for us to have babies, I know, because everyone will have lots of advice to give and lots of support to give, I am sure. But in this period of life, it's been hard. It just is hard. And that's that. So I just kind of wanted to kind of bring that up briefly. One thing that we are really excited about is that after we got back from Allie's wedding at the beginning of this month, we are not traveling again until late December to go back to Baltimore, because we're spending Christmas there this year. And so All of September we have been at home, and we will be at home all of October, all of November, and almost all of December. Now, the beginning of this year, we traveled a whole bunch, and there were different reasons for that, and there's no reason to go into all of that. But all of that travel was so welcomed by me in those months because I wanted to get the heck out of Dodge. I was so excited to get out of town and go and do something different and be with different people and just not be in this zip code anymore. However, now that I'm starting to get to a place where my heart feels more settled and I feel more okay with being here, I am really thankful to have this fall and winter, these months, to just be at home and to just enjoy being here and what that looks like, and go to Wednesday night workouts and go and do, you know, these little things in town because I'm not away. And that feeling of just being settled is one that is kind of overcoming me for the first time in years, of really feeling truly just kind of settled and okay with where we are. And it's a really beautiful thing. It's really a marker of growth, and I'm just excited to be at that point in this journey because, as you guys know, it's not been an easy one. And so being in a place where I'm truly not miserable, and I was miserable to begin this year, and just to feel really okay and content and settled here, despite all the things that are hard, is a good feeling. So that's something that is worth mentioning. The last thing that was really neat, and I shared about it briefly in one of my weekly vlogs, maybe weekly vlog 7, it was toward the end, but there was a worship night that was held about a month ago now, at the beginning of September, I think. And yeah. And basically it was our church and then like 7 other churches or something like that. We all came together and just had a worship night, and it was beautiful. And we prayed together and we sang worship songs together, and it was just great. It's like a great time of fellowship. We had a potluck, and I got to meet some new people. Everyone was much older than me, but what else is new? So anyway, it was great. The point is, it was great. And there was a time during the worship night where the pastor, who was kind of running it, or kind of keeping everything on track, so to speak, said, if anyone in the room is praying and feels that God has laid it on their heart to share a word of encouragement with someone else in the room, this would be a good time to do that. And so the music continued playing softly, and everyone was praying and just kind of seeking the Lord in those moments. And this woman who I've never met came up to me, and she had this beautiful encouragement to me, and I've never met her. Like, she didn't know my name. She didn't know me at all. So it was like, it was straight from God, and it was so cool. And she just I kind of took notes of what she said afterwards because I didn't want to forget. But basically she said, I just want you to know that God has not forgotten you. And I'm probably going to cry saying this because it was like such a kiss on the forehead from God of like, I know these years have been hard, but I'm with you. But anyway, she said, I feel like God wants me to tell you that he has not forgotten you, and he knows that you have felt forgotten. I'm so emotional all the time. He knows that you have felt forgotten a lot recently, and he just wants you to know that you're not forgotten, and that he loves you and he sees you, and he knows that you are looking around at people, you know, your peers, and you're thinking, when is that going to happen for me? And immediately when she said that, all I could think about was this whole theme of community, and looking at friends that I have in other places, and friends from college, and my friends from Alston who continue to have these like tribes of people around them, and I miss that so desperately. And that was immediately what came to mind. And she said, and I just want to encourage you and tell you that yours is coming. I'm gonna cry, and I'm already crying. And she just said, God has not forgotten you, and he wants you to know that, and he knows that you're looking around and wondering when it will be your time to have whatever. In my mind, I'm thinking those friendships, but she didn't say that. She just said, but I just want you to know that that's coming. And it was just like, one of the coolest spiritual experiences I've ever been a part of, for so many reasons, but mostly because this woman doesn't know my story. She doesn't know anything about me at all. We had never met, and it was just such specific encouragement of like, you're not forgotten. God is right there with you, and he has really awesome things in store for you, which is what the hope that I've been clinging to so tightly for the past couple of years. That's the exact hope I've been clinging to, of like, I know this isn't going to last forever. I know that this hardship and this season of difficulty has a purpose, and I know that I can reach other people that I could have never reached before, and encourage other people and empathize and have compassion in a way that I never could have before. But at the same time thinking like, oh my gosh, when is this going to come to an end? And so it was just, those words that she spoke to me are like forever ingrained on my heart. I'm so thankful that she had the courage to come up to me and share with like a complete stranger, not knowing what I was thinking or what my response would be, but it was like such perfect, it was just really, really cool. And I was just so thankful for that. And it was, like I said, it was like a kiss on the forehead from God of like, I'm with you. I am with you. And I felt that so strongly through this journey and process. But we all have our doubts, and there have been times where I'm like, I think I'm just must be meant to feel lonely for the rest of my life, just living in the middle of nowhere. But of course, that's not God's heart for me. And his heart for me and for you and for anyone else is to be in community. I just think that's such a beautiful thing. So I was so thankful for that. And that has rejuvenated my spirit in so many ways, of just feeling so much more, I just feel so much more hopeful, because I feel like that was such confirmation of this thing that I've been clinging to and hoping for. Like, one day I'm going to have a group of friends again. One day I'm going to have a group of friends again. I'm not going to feel like this forever. I'm not going to feel like this forever. And then having someone completely on the outside confirm that's God's heart toward me and his will for me, was so amazing. So amazing. So that was September in a nutshell. I will be sure to update you guys as October unfolds, and I'll let you know toward the end of October what that month looked like for me. I really don't know what these next few fall months are going to look like, because I don't have anything like major planned. And actually there were 2 different things that I was invited to go on, or 2 or whatever, in the fall months, and I said no to both of them, because I just feel like I am in a season where I need to be at home. And I don't know if that's because there's going to be some cool thing that's going to happen where I want to be here, or something I'm going to get to be a part of that would require me being here, or if it's just to have a season of rest. I don't know yet, but I can feel that I'm just meant to be here, and it's a really good feeling. So as always, I would genuinely love to hear from you. I would love to hear your thoughts on what you're up to, how you're doing, what's your emotional and spiritual state look like right now. Of course, you can comment below. You can also send me an email, or you can send me snail mail. I will write you back on any of those different platforms, or whatever you want to say. And I would just love to have a conversation. I've gotten to know so many of you through this Rooted series of just other women who are going through something similar, and I cannot tell you how thankful I am for it. So make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week, month. Bye.